From the clear daylight of dawn, and I know that you'll never be able to plough the rocks upon. My heart is always trembling from the clear daylight of dawn, afraid I'll never be able to plough the rocks upon. The Queen.
O'Donnell, let's see. We got the Gipper speech. Newt Rockney won one for the Gipper speech. All right.
Yeah, he's a famous Irish person.
Well, that's right. You go.
A little bit of everything.
They have the jig of the leprechaun. A hot toddy would warm your boil.
Hello. Expecting my book to be in a little earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they'll write a poem about how you started too early.
That's all right. That's okay. They can show up at 8 o'clock. It'll just give us a chance to do our thing.
You have this picture right here where you put.
You already checked. Okay. That's right. Yeah. That's where I put her.
If no one's taking it, you can take it.
No. Could be a couple.
I don't think so. They would have put
Made Irish coffee.
That's right. Okay. Professor Dennis Callahan. Hey, Dennis, buddy. Oh, and I got a surprise for you. I got a tape of the Notre Dame halftime of the George Gipp speech from another professor later, but we'll get to that later. All right.
Dennis. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day. The poetry that they began to write on the manuscripts was just in the margins, and it was, and the island was as small as it is, and as isolated as it is, and as cold as it is, and so the marginalia that they would write, just small bits of poems. And so here's one that was just in the margins of one of the, sort of the Book of Kells kinds of things. It's called The Viking Terror. Fierce is the wind tonight. It plows up the white hair of the sea. I have no fear that the Viking hosts will come over the water to me. So just a bit of a thing. That's it. Thank you very much. Good night. But just small bits of things, and most of the people who wrote these were clerics of one sort or another, and so great people of great spirituality. Here's another one. It's called The Scribe. A hedge of trees surrounds me. The blackbird's lay sings to me. Above my lined booklet, the trilling bird chant to me. In the gray mantle from the top of bushes, the cuckoo sings, verily, may the Lord shield me. Well do I write under greenwood. Bucolic bunch of people they were. Okay. I took little bits of Irish, and I was one time talking to a priest who speaks good Irish, and I said to him, "Good day," and I said it in this way, and some of you speak Irish and will find this absolutely horrific when I say it, but I said, "Dia Dutch," which means God be with you. And then to that, one is supposed to respond, "Dia Schmertha Dutch," which means God and Mary be with you, and evidently you could go through the whole lives of the saints, depending on how many people you met and this kind of thing. Well, anyway, I'm told that when you're asked, "How are you?" you say, "Ermuna Mocha," which means on the back of a pig, which kind of means top of the world, man, and this kind of stuff. So, they're just they're lovely and bucolic, and these bits of verses show that kind of thing. So here's another one. This is St. Columkill, and he writes in praise of God, and it's St. Columkill's Islands. Well, the praises of God. It is folly for any man in the world to cease from praising him when the bird does not cease, and it without a soul but wind. So just a short bit there. Okay. Well, one of the best pieces in the margins at this time was a small poem called Pangur Ban. Let me find that for you because it's longer than 4 lines, and it's amusing. So let me locate it for you. So this poor cleric, this poor isolated, cold cleric living between brick walls, writes this. He has a cat in his cell, and he transcribes, the various books of religious writing, and so this is the poem he writes. He and Pangerban. I and Pangerban, my cat, 'tis a like task we're at. Hunting mice is his delight. Hunting words, I sit all night. Better far than praise of men, 'tis to sit with book and pen. Panger bears me no ill will. He too plies his simple skill. 'Tis a merry thing to see, at our tasks how glad are we, when at home we sit and find entertainment to our mind. Oft times a mouse will stray into hero Panger's way. Oft time my keen thought takes a meaning in its net. 'Gainst the wall he sets his eye, full and fierce and sharp and sly. 'Gainst the wall of knowledge I, with all my little wisdom, try. When a mouse darts from its den, oh, how glad is Panger then! Oh, what gladness do I prove when I solve the doubts I love! So in peace our tasks we ply, Pangerban, my cat and I. In our arts we find our bliss, I have mine and he has his. Practice every day has made Panger perfect in his trade. I get wisdom day and night, turning darkness into light. So, it's 9th century. So, just in the margins. Some of you may know Brian Moore. Brian Moore was born in the north of Ireland. He's a very good writer. I wrote about him. And he wrote about 20 novels. He taught at UCLA at the end of his life. He was prolific, and his writing was always good and always spiritual. And this is his first novel, a novel called The Lonely Passion of Judith Hearn. And it's just about a woman who's been as devout as she can be throughout her whole life, and she's found that to be a bad deal at the end of it. She's lonely, and she's desperate, and she's given her life to belief, and now at the end of her life, she's found it awful. So and she drinks too much, and she's isolated, and she's alone, and so she goes to the tabernacle and attacks it, looking for the presence of God and meaning. And Catholics house once the bread and wine is consecrated and becomes the body and blood. The host is housed in the tabernacle, and so that's the living presence of God, etc., etc. So this woman, absolutely desperate to find meaning in life, has a drop taken, has several drops taken, and is absolutely agonized by her existence, and storms the tabernacle to find meaning. And so this is what how Brian Moore presents, this moment of agony. It was the quiet time. The church was empty except for 2 aged housewives who toiled around the side aisles, offering up prayers before the pictured agonies of the Stations of the Cross, and one old man in the front bench, sitting as quiet as a piece of furniture, his rosary lax in his hands. Old people with nothing left to do but pray. Over the main altar, the sanctuary lamp glowed red. In the dark side altars, candles guttered before painted statues, Our Lady, St. Joseph, St. Patrick, sightless saints. Slowly she walked up the center aisle. "O God, have I sinned against you? Why have you not punished me? I have renounced you. Do you hear me? I have abandoned you. Because, O Father, you have abandoned me. I needed you, Father, and you turned away. I prayed to you, Father, and you did not answer. All men turned from me, and you, Father, you too." The painted Mary smiled from the side altar, blue-robed and white virginal tunic and delicate painted hands uplifted in intercession. "O Mother Mary, why did you not intercede for me? Why do you not smile now? There is nothing to smile for. O Sacred Heart, why did you ask this suffering? The reason, tell me, I will bear it. But a reason, not the reasons your priests have given. They are no reason for this terrible thing." The red sanctuary lamp swung gently as the drift of cold air blew across the altar. The wind ruffled the little white curtain that screened the tabernacle door. It was very quiet. Only her own footsteps she could hear. And now, what will become of me? Am I to grow old in a room year by year until they take me to the poorhouse? Am I to be a forgotten old woman, mumbling in a corner of a house run by nuns?